Hi, my name is Becca. I'm the Forage Garden Manager. The Forage Garden is a half-acre certified organic garden here at Santa Clara University. We're part of the Center for Sustainability. The garden itself is a hub for sustainable food systems programming across campus. It serves as a living laboratory for classes, as well as a common space for the community and SCU. Anyone can engage with the Forage. We have programs that cater to the SCU community, students, faculty, staff, as well as programs and events that are open to our local community. The Forage Garden is home to over 20 different fruit and nut trees that are planted as an orchard around the perimeter of the garden. In the 1950s, the Santa Clara Valley was the third largest nut and fruit producing region in the country. And our orchard in the Forage was planted as a tribute to honor that history. And we want to honor that because a lot of that agricultural history in the area has been lost due to development, and we want to continue to grow food in this space and feed people. We have a group of students on campus that are volunteers, and once a week they go out around campus and harvest from fruit trees, either on campus or on campus-owned property. We take that fruit and distribute it at our farm stand or to the food pantry on campus to reduce food waste. We have 4 beehives here in our garden. They are honeybees. And as you walk around in the garden, you see, along with the orchard, a lot of flowering plants in the garden. And these honeybees help pollinate all those plants, along with the many native bee species that we see in the garden on a regular basis. California has over 1,600 species of native bees, so we see a lot of different critters out here in the garden, which we love. We do have a beekeeper who tends to our bees and teaches about 1 to 2 beekeeping workshops here in the garden every year, and those are open to the public. So part of our weekend workshop program includes beekeeping. This is our Forage Garden chicken coop. We have 8 hens that are all laying hens. And in their coop, we have automatic doors that are light sensored. So at the end of the day, when it starts to get dark, the doors will automatically close and keep the chickens safe from predators at night, and then open up and let them out in the morning. We also have an automatic watering system for the chickens, which is really amazing and keeps the water clean for them. And that was built by a group of engineering students that did the watering system as a project. And this here is our friend Bok Choy. This is our 400 square foot Forage Garden greenhouse. We start most of our seeds in the greenhouse, let them get nice and strong before we transplant them out into the garden beds. And these starts we sell at a donation-based plant sale that we do once or twice a year, always in the spring. We just had ours in April, and that is open to the community members and to come and get local, organically grown plant starts for their gardens. We also have on the outside of our greenhouse a rainwater catchment system that flows into a plastic drum that we can pump out of and use to water our greenhouse in the wintertime. And we're planning on attaching a bigger basin for that catchment system probably this summer. And that was built by an engineering class group as a project. As you walk around the garden, you'll notice a lot of larger flowering perennial plants. And we like to have a lot of those in the garden to attract pollinators, to attract beneficial insects for the garden, especially predatory insects, and really bolster our biodiversity out here at the Forage. And having a robust ecosystem in our space helps us have a healthier environment, but also healthier plants that we're growing. This is our cob bench that was built from subsoil, straw, and water. All the materials were found within 1 block radius of the garden, including some cinder blocks at the base that were from a construction project on campus, so all reused materials. This Our garden mural that's behind me, that was created by 2 studio art students. The mural itself is meant to pay tribute to the agricultural history of this area as the Valley of Heart's Delight. And there are some materials that are painted at the bottom, which are materials that actually were found at this site when the forge was being built. There are horseshoes and farming equipment that were found here because this plot of land was a blacksmith's forge back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and that is how the Forge Garden got its name. So the Forge is home to the 2007 Solar Decathlon House. This house was built by a group of engineering students and was part of the Solar Decathlon competition in Washington, D.C. in 2007. And this house won 3rd place. Come and take a look inside. So this solar house has a bunch of cool sustainability features, including solar panels on the roof that provide the energy for the entire house. It has denim in the insulation, bamboo flooring and cupboards, as well as an induction stove and oven. This is our outdoor kitchen. This is where we have our weekly farm stand, which is every Friday from 11:30 to 1:30. All of the produce from the garden, we sell donation-based at the farm stand, and folks pay what they can. No one will be turned away for lack of funds. The first hour is specifically for students, and then it opens up to the entire community. We also make a donation of produce to the food pantry, Bronco Pantry on campus, every week. And the outdoor kitchen is also where we hold our Nourish Nights program. This last year we fed over 800 free meals to students here in the garden, and that program was developed to help address food insecurity on campus. However, those are not the only ways to be involved in the Forge. We also have workday hours every week, which change quarter to quarter. But one section of time that always is the same is Friday mornings from 9:30 to 11:30. And that volunteer time is harvesting for the farm stand. So if you come, you learn how to harvest and set up the farm stand each week. We also have weekend workshops that we have about 4 every quarter. And those are open to the entire public. And we do workshops, anything from sourdough bread making to herbal remedies to kombucha making. We're always happy to take suggestions of what the community wants to learn about. There are a lot of different ways for classes to get involved in the garden. We've had over 750 students come out and use the Forge as a living laboratory this last year. Some examples of what classes have done we had an agroecology class that came and did research in 2 different growing beds. We have had a biology lab class that has come and done monitoring and building of a hot composting pile in our composting system. We had sociology of religion come out for a tour to talk about the connection between being out in nature and well-being, as well as art classes that use this space for inspiration or things to draw. So this is one of our outdoor classroom areas. We have benches that can be converted into tables, and classes can do their class out here. We also have an outdoor kitchen that can be used as a space, as well as some smaller seating areas around the garden. To request a class visit to the garden, you can email theforge@scu.edu and we'll send you a form to fill out. In the form, you can specify how you would like to engage with the Forge, whether you would like just a tour or something more involved, like a research project with the compost system, for example, or doing volunteering, or maybe planting. So all of that can be figured out once you fill out the form, and we'd love to have your class out here sometime.